What is up, everyone? Today I'm going to break down how I like to modify my frog, the knot I like to tie, and how I like to fish it. Let's get started. Today I'm going to be using the Spro Bronzeye Frog 65 in one of my favorite colors, Rainforest Black. Let's get it unpackaged and modify it. Spro has designed a great frog here. You obviously can take it straight out of the packaging and you can still catch fish. But in my opinion, the modifications I'm going to show you will decrease short strikes and also help you land more fish. One thing that's great about this frog is it's included with relatively short legs. Some manufacturers, for some reason, include really ridiculously long legs. And yeah, it disperses more water, it's a fish attractant, but it's also going to cause more short strikes. So even with this guy, I'm going to trim roughly 50% of the legs, and this is going to help with less short strikes and better hookups. All right, so we're going to go ahead and trim the legs roughly 50%. There we go. Now I know some people say if you trim the legs too short, it will cause the frog not to walk properly. That is entirely not true. How the frog walks is based off the design of the body of the frog. All right, next we're gonna take a needle nose plier and we're gonna slightly just bend the hook away from the body of the frog. Now be careful not to put the needle nose right at the point of the hook. You could actually snap the hook. And also be careful of the barb right here. You want to go right behind the barb with your needle nose. Now we're gonna grab the hollow body frog with my thumb and my index finger, and we're gonna squeeze the hook in the inside of the body of the frog. And after that, like I said, we're gonna go right behind the barb. We're gonna slightly bend it up. Go to the other hook and do the exact same thing. Now it might take you a few tries, that's fine, but you can just keep eyeballing it. Like I said, it's not a huge difference, you just want it slightly away from the body of the frog. All right, there you have it. It is now slightly off the body of the frog. Now I've been asked before, like, how far are you bending the hooks? It is very, very slight, but that slight angle change of coming off the body of the frog will increase your hookups. Now, straight from the manufacturer, it's pressed up against the body of the frog. And the point of that is to keep it weedless. That makes sense. You're throwing this in a lot of cover, right? But it does decrease your hookups. It's harder to get that hook into the mouth of the bass. But now, with slightly coming off the body, it's going to increase your hookups. But fair warning, it is going to be a little bit less weedless, but in my opinion, the trade-off is worth it. All right, now we're going to tie on the frog to straight braid. All that means is there's no leader material attached to your braid. The knot that I like to use is called a uni knot. Simple enough. We're going to go straight through the eye of the frog. We're going to create basically a U pattern, and then we're going to go about roughly about 50% or so up the two lines and pinch them together. Make sure to give yourself enough line to get this done. And then we're gonna go down with the tab end and we're gonna create a loop like so with the tab end right here. Now with the tab end, we're gonna go through the loop and we're gonna wrap back upwards the line 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now with a tab end, we're gonna pull it, and you can slowly see that it's starting to cinch a knot. Now normally what I like to do from here before I fully cinch it to the eye is wet it. You can use your saliva, pond water, whatever you want. Once that's done, you can cinch it slowly to the eye of the bait and you can see it slowly starting to cinch down. Now pull it taut while holding onto the hooks. One thing that's important though you need to do with this tab end, you need to cinch this down as well. You can use your teeth or a pair of pliers. I'm not telling you to use your teeth, I normally do. But make sure that knot is fully cinched down and now you're good to go to fish it. And here's a quick diagram for your reference. One thing I forgot to mention is you need to trim down your tab. One thing that's important too though is leave a little bit of a tab left, because you want to have some room. If you go to set the hook and it needs to cinch down a little bit further, that's not going to slip your knot and you'll lose your bass. So it should look something like that with a little bit of a tab left. All right, now I'm going to show you how I actually like to work the frog. We're going to cast to a targeted area. Very important, we're going to let it sit until all the ripples are gone. A lot of times you will get a hit wherever the targeted area is either on the first twitch or right when it hits the water and you're just letting it sit. After it's sat, all the ripples are gone. We're going to reel in a little bit of line, but you want a little bit of slack in your line to help walk the dog, which is the bait walking on top of the water like that. And you're going to have your rod tip down at an angle, and you're going to twitch back towards the bank or boat wherever you're fishing. So your frog should look like this as it's walking, going side to side, back and forth, back and forth. I'll show you again. Targeted area, a little bit in those sticks, that's fine, I can reel it out. Let the ripples go, let them dissipate. All right, now we're gonna start twitching. Now sometimes too in the targeted area, if I really wanted to sit in there, I'm only gonna twitch it once or twice. I'm gonna let it sit again. I can't tell you how many times the bites that I've gotten from bass are from when it's actually, I let the topwater frog just sit. Back and forth, back and forth. And you can see it's just small twitches I'm doing on the rod. You don't have to do it aggressively at all. It actually works better if you don't. Now let's say you cast out, you're working your frog, and then you start, all of a sudden, the frog just starts kind of popping forward. It's not doing the walking motion. You kind of gotten out of rhythm. Let it sit. That's the perfect time just to let it sit. It'll allow some slack to get into your line, and then you can get right back into rhythm. All right, so now let's talk about when you get a bite, because this is gonna be the most important. When you get a bite, you wanna allow the bass to take the lure for roughly 2 seconds. Now, if you feel a really hard tug after they have taken the frog, a lot of times you can set the hook. But good rule of thumb, you want them to take it for roughly 2 seconds, let them get it fully in their mouth and start swimming downwards before you set the hook. This is where most people make a mistake in frog fishing, and they honestly just get frustrated with it and then quit even trying. The hook set is the most important thing to do while frog fishing. And it can be one of the hardest, right? You know, as fishermen, we see a bite, especially topwater, it's exciting. You're gonna wanna set the hook immediately. You will probably miss the fish every time if you do that. You have to be extremely patient on a frog bite and allow him to get the frog fully in his mouth and go under with it before you set the hook. And if you're just starting off, just be patient with it. You're gonna miss fish as you're learning. Anybody can miss a fish on top of a frog. I don't care how long you've been fishing, if you consider yourself a professional or not, you will miss fish from time to time on a topwater frog. It's just gonna happen. But in my opinion, it's the most exciting way to catch fish. All right, guys, that's how I like to get it done with a topwater frog. Get out there, get fishing, have fun with it, guys. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And in the description, I'm gonna include links to all the gear that I'm using. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you later.